When life is giving you the experience of not enough of something you want, not enough money, for example, you're asking for more. In fact, we've been watching you. You're asking and asking and asking and asking and asking and asking and asking. And there is a veritable fortune amassed for you, vibrationally speaking, in what we are calling this vortex of creation. This is a vibrational reality that precedes all things that you call your manifested reality. Sometimes our physical friends are annoyed as we wave arms around and describe this vortex of creation, this vibrational reality. They just say, show me the money, Abraham. I want to believe you that airy-fairy stuff is real, but what I really want is the tangible evidence. And we want you to understand that once you've launched the rocket and once the source within you has acknowledged it and is holding to it, that there is a vibrational reality that is valuable. It's an escrow that you can count on. But you have to be a vibrational match to what you're asking for. And often, even though you want to be, you're not. You beat the drum of not enough money, and as you do, you're asking for more and asking for more, because whenever there's not enough, you are asking for more. And so Source is tending to and holding this fortune. And here's the thing that we really want you to understand. In this vortex of creation, where the larger part of you dwells, where law of attraction is assembling all cooperative components, that is the key reference for you to take away from this gathering. All cooperative components have already been assembled for the manifesting of all things that you are asking for. But the question that we want you to become aware of as you're here in this workshop today, we want you to ask yourself, am I in my physical form a cooperative component? And the answer is often you're the only uncooperative component. Because you're still beating the drum of I don't have enough, I don't have enough, I don't have enough. And you know why that is? Because your awareness of your reality has your nearly undivided attention. You're so busy looking at what is that you've forgotten that what is was only and will only ever be the bouncing off place for this vortex of creation where all things are happening. So what happens as you live your life just like you knew you would? The contrast helps you to do step one. Step one causes you to ask, and you do it all day, every day. You cannot turn that asking off. The entire universe is established to provide for you and everyone else you know this opportunity to continue to expand and evolve, even if you are a one-celled organism. So you're asking. And Source is not just answering. Source is literally becoming the vibrational equivalent of what you are asking for. And because the inner being within you, the Source within you, gives undivided attention to the new and improved expansion that you've carved out of your leading edge life experience, when you focus on the opposite of what you have now asked for, let's say it a better way, when you focus upon the opposite of what you have evolved to, do you get it? Do you get that life caused you to ask and the larger part of you evolved to a new vibrational stance? And when you don't go, you don't feel good. That's what that separation, that's what negative emotion is. That's what the tug of war within you often is. This gathering, we call it the art of allowing, the art of figuring out how to allow myself in my physical form to be that which the Source within me has become as a result of my exposure to this contrast here and now. Do you see how it all fits together? There are no words to convey to you the appreciation that we feel from this non-physical vantage point for the leading edge work that you all are doing. We want to assure you that your future, that the future of this planet, that the future of all that you know as physicality, it is magnificently laid out before you. And when you find something to fuss and worry about, the most significance that has is that for you, right here, right now, you prevent yourself from being the full being that you really are. And here is the most significant thing that you will hear from us this day or ever. That negative emotion that you feel simply means that you are not keeping up with you. You are not keeping up with who you have become as a result of the life that you've been living. So, what do you want to talk about? Some things. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. There is nothing that is off limits. There is someone now. You will notice a perfect unfolding because you have to know that this meeting has assembled long before you dragged your physical bodies here. In other words, who you are and the larger part of you has already assembled in this vortex of creation, you see. And so we are well aware of who you are and what you're asking for. As people come forth, we'll call you one at a time and we will visit with you about whatever is on your mind. It is our powerful intention to assist you in getting into the proximity of this vortex of creation. Because if you are not somewhere near the solution that you seek, you won't hear our answer even though it will be brilliant. You have to be in the vibrational vicinity of what you're reaching for, which means in many cases you have to distract yourself from what's been bothering you. Because do you know, the vibrational frequency of a question and its answer are very different frequencies. The vibrational frequency of a problem and a solution are very different frequencies. And so we want this forum to be an opportunity for you to listen and feel and come into vibrational concert with who you really are, which means we're going to do our best to distract you from the vibrational patterning of what's been holding you apart from who you are. We want you in the vortex. That's where you belong. But we don't ever want to imply that you should just get in there and remain in there. You'd have to croak to do that. You came forth in physical form with the distinct intention of exploring contrast for the purpose of expansion, for the purpose of joyous expansion. Not one of you said, I'll go forth and I'll struggle and strive and I will launch rockets, but I won't go. I'll just stay there in my lackful, mournful, complaining existence. And I'll sacrifice the joy that could be mine for the good of others. Not one of you said that. Every one of you said, I'll go into natural contrast and from it I will choose. And once the choice is made and the larger part of me gives undivided attention to the choice, I will too. And you know what the most exhilarating thing about that is that everything that you want to call joyous life experience, every bit of it is that closing of that gap. In other words, you out here on the leading edge, you get to explore the contrast and you get to launch the rocket. But then the most wonderful thing happens to you. You get to feel the visceral, tactile, physical thrill of now coming into alignment with your expansion. You get to experience the manifested perfection of every wish or desire or dream that you could ever conjure. But you've got to learn how to become a match to your dreams, which means you got to let go of reality. You got to let go of the reality of the isness of now, because some of it's good and some of it is not the way you want it to be. And you've trained yourself to be so very objective. You weigh the pros and the cons and the pluses and the minuses. You find things, you may not believe this, but you find things in your historical history. You find things in your history that were awful and you make monuments about them. And then you drag your blessed new little ones down the long, awful trail of all of that history. As your children are born, you say, I've been here longer and I know how bad it can be. You're fresh and new and naive, but I see it as my job to change that as quickly as possible. A lot of bad things have happened to me and I've written them all down here. And a lot of bad things that haven't happened to me have happened to other people. I've written them all down too. And so now I will help you guard yourself from all of these unwanted things. And what most humans do not realize is that in every moment of every bit of that, all they are doing is holding themselves apart from the vibrational reality that is full of all of their requests and is sustained by the energy that creates worlds, by that which man calls God, by that which is the source of all that is good, that remains there for you, surrounding everything that you want and the larger part of you, summoning you all day, every day into it, calling you, calling you, calling you. And when you answer that call, when you move in the direction of that, you feel the relief of releasing the resistance. With every particle of resistance that you release, with every bit of movement toward who you really are, you feel yourself blossoming and blooming and becoming that being that you have already become, vibrationally speaking. So it's rather easy to be here in your physical body and to get yourself vibrationally separated. That's really too strong a word, but pinched off from the fullness of who you really are. Your emotions let you know how you're doing in that regard. Your emotions let you know in every moment that you are consciously aware of the vibrational relationship between the non-physical source energy part of you and the thought that you are thinking right here in this moment. So here is how it works, and we're just briefly going to give this to you. We want this to be something that you significantly understand, and all day long we'll bring you back to this realization, because an acceptance of the reality of the whole that is you is necessary before you can be the joyous, creative being that you have come forth to be. So before you came into this physical body, you were non-physical energy, and a part of that consciousness came forth into the personality that you know as you. So here you are in this body, you that you know as you and you that others know as you, and you are exploring the variety of this leading edge time-space reality, this leading edge, magnificently balanced, contrasting environment where by knowing what you don't want, you can come to clearer preferences about what you do want. And every time that preference is made, whether you speak it out loud or not, much more is happening that is happening on a nonverbal level than at verbal level. Hard to believe as much as you are talking to one another. But much more is happening vibrationally. So this rocket of desire is shooting forth from you all day, every day, rocket after rocket after rocket of what would be better, what would be an improved situation. Not just for you, magnificent humans, genius creators out here on the leading edge, but even the one-celled organisms, even that which is what you call dirt or rock or beast or flower. Everything that is consciousness is having exposure to environment, and everything that is consciousness, which is everything, is sending forth rockets of desire, rockets of improvement. That's why the evolution of all species occurs. So as this rocket of desire goes forth, the non-physical part of you, or the one-celled organism, or the rock, or the flower, or the beast, the non-physical part of you takes that rocket and holds the newly found preference, the newly found place, and holds it as a vibrational marker, waiting for you to vibrationally catch up to it. That's where your emotions come in. So when we tell you you are vibrational beings, how does that set with you? Are you all right with that? When we tell you that you are source energy in a physical body, does that sort of kind of make sense to you? When we tell you that you're exploring contrast and that the contrast helps you to choose, do you get that? And when we tell you that when you've chosen, that the larger part of you embraces your choice and holds it for you eternally, waiting for another amendment and waiting for you to become a vibrational match to it, can you relate that to the wonderful aspects of your life? Do you get that? Do you now understand the emotions within you and what they mean? Do you know that the source within you is one who loves? Do you know that? And do you know that that's why when you find someone that you're not appreciating, when you're finding fault or blame, when you're condemning someone or something, even when by your physical standards they darn well deserve it, do you now understand what that negative emotion means? It means you departed from who you are. Source says you have the free will to do that, but you're not ever going to feel like you really feel when you hate, because you are a lover. The larger part of you loves. And when you don't love, you're not who you are. And there is a separation that you can feel in your solar plexus that feels like hate or anger. When you are afraid, do you know that it does not mean that you're receiving a warning bell that says there's danger? Do you know that when you're afraid, what it means is you have thought about something and therefore activated a vibration and therefore established a vibrational pattern of such separation from who you are that that empty, awful feeling that you call fear simply means Your thought is not in sync with who you are. You're draining yourself. Draining isn't the right word. You are disallowing the refueling, the refilling of who you really are.